Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today, now that we've officially brought in the big guns, it's time to set our sights on the current crisis event. Or at least try to. I mean, it is going to come down to the RNG as to whether or not we find a suitable contract. But first, we're already here. One last round for the road. And this time we are up against two desert bandits. The condemned killers cautiously approach. The crowd hushed as Bowman pops off a quick shot, an arrow glancing from a chain sleeve. Excited chanting builds up as the bandit lunges in, throwing a handful of sand in Rook's face. A colossal swing from Rex. No luck. The first bandit breaks as an arrow clips his ear. And Rex catches the second on the backswing. Head separated from body. And arrow drops the first. Blood fountaining the sand. Nice. Quick and easy warm-up. One sec to get our accessories reset. And with that done, we now set our sights on yonder Noble House Highway. Starting, I think, with Matterfest, which I do believe is a house that we're planning on ultimately working against, but it is important to at least poke our heads in once before we inevitably turn them hostile. Plus, it's just convenient to our overall travel plans. Yeah, that's how it's heading. The religious cult. Though that is not why we're planning on fighting them. It's more just because they happen to have the least important location as far as noble houses go. For better or worse, Goswin and Harkon are the houses that are heavily clustered in the north and south, respectively. Whereas Hedden is just more scattered around center. An area we're generally less interested in. So yeah, ultimately our goal here is to take any contract we can find where we're backing Goswin or Harkon against Hedden. And we've got brigands. Nighttime, so let's keep that in mind. Alois and Arrow both have night vision, so we can keep them in. Yeah, in fact, you know what? Let's go wide on the front line. Get more rookies in there. Rogues will sit this one out. All right, let's do this. On the long trek to Matterfest, the raiders suddenly found themselves face to face with unfamiliar company. An awkward moment of silence passed before Rax stepped up. You gonna fight us or what? There was a brief, murmured conversation before one shouted back. You're the RetconRaiders, right? Yeah, I think we're supposed to kill you. Bowman casually knocked an arrow, glancing sidelong at Rook. The sergeant nodded. Heads ducked hastily, the formation rippling as the arrow missed by scant inches. The fuck was that? Came the indignant response. Well, we're fighting, right? Rax shouted back. the query instantly punctuated by the thunk of a bolt in Malafnoy's shield. Annie sighed, striding towards the enemy line. Random shrugged and nodded, quickly following suit. "What?" Rax shouted after them, gesturing helplessly. "Am I not supposed to make sure we're killing people before I actually just up and do it?" And with a sigh of his own, he hefted his heavy axe and loped into battle. The initial clash was surprisingly tepid. Murky midnight and shifting sands conspiring to ensure that every attack missed. Look, I'm just saying, some consistency would be nice. You kill a guy without being asked, you get yelled at. You ask a guy before killing him, you get yelled at. A brigand's head, separated from shoulders. Mark and Seymore glanced at each other, before the former bowyer nervously interjected. "Rax, you're really overthinking this. We kill whoever the captain tells us to. Simple as." His words were lost as night briefly turned to day. A fleeing bandit cast broken to the dunes. "Or, you know, if they attack first," Seymore added in passing. And Annie let their flail do the talking. A brigand's head, erupting neath multiple impacts. Likewise for Random, another skull splattering, body ragdolling to the dunes. A bandit broke, quickly hacked to pieces by the combined efforts of Mal and Drak. An arch foe tumbled, arrow protruding from shattered knee. The brigand back line desperately laid down fire, even as Rax casually decapitated another. Mark stepped up. A red-hot hailstorm of shrapnel, shredding the bandit formation. Armor and bodies within both turned to unrecognizable ruin. Rook moved in, impaling an arm as he signaled for the raiders to finish the job. One claimed by Rev. Another by Verlin. Seymore stabbed a shoulder, pinning a crossbowman to the sand. Random rushed in, another skull crushed courtesy of his flail. And the fight was all but done. With Drak bringing it to a head. Yeah, nice and simple. Poor guys never really stood a chance. But at least we got some good banter in. Not to mention, I imagine, at least 1,000 gold worth of halfway decent loot. Obviously nothing we'll actually use. This is all just sales fodder. Yeah, and then we'll just leave the rest of this here. Save ourselves some shuffling in the future. I am anticipating at least one more fight en route. And there we go. Enemy stronghold. Nomad outlaws, nomad marksmen, daylight conditions. One sec. Let me change up our line real quick. And good to go. Let's knock these guys out. At the halfway mark to Matterfest, the raiders stumble upon a thriving nomad camp. A dangerous target to be sure, but they've certainly made worse decisions in the past. Bowman opens the assault, an arrow piercing a nomad's side. And the nomads, startled to find their reclusive camp suddenly under siege, respond in kind. Several swordsmen sprint towards the raider line, including one, still streaming sanguine from his arrow-stricken side. Annie and Random take lead, flails a-flailin'. Rev stepping up behind, deftly lopping a limb. Diego steps up next, spearing a shoulder, breaking the man attached. And more nomads rush in. The shieldmen curiously bringing up the rear, perhaps to thwart the raiders from pushing any further. Verlin drives one back, better securing the line. And Tommy claims the first kill. A hatchet buried half deep in a hooligan's head. Mark steps up. Oh, perfect. The handgun roars, the closest ruffian all but disintegrating. The archer beyond's hand left in ruin. And Alois moves up as well. Sadly, his blast meets with slightly less success. Metal shields deflecting the bulk of the shrapnel. Bowman puts an arrow through an archfoe's arm. Oh. Annie takes a couple of hits, but nothing too nasty. Her opponent puzzled as similar shallow wounds appear on his own form. An outlaw's whip entangles Random's flail, prompting a brief but spirited tug of war. Tommy takes up new position. His follow-up toss in vain. A swordsman dumps Mark's clearly choreographed attack, only to catch Rev's billhook in the throat. And a second salvo from Alois. This time met with more success. The shieldmen themselves left largely unscathed, but an errant archer behind, torn asunder. Annie beats the neck-slit swordsman's head to bloody mash. Seymore rushing in, stabbing a stubborn shieldman through the hand. And one by one, the nomads begin to break. But the nomads fight on, nonetheless. A fatal mistake, at least for the remaining shieldmen. A flurry of arrows drops one, bloodies another. Mark reloads, repositions. Hard to say how much impact he'll have on the rest of this fight, but he's already done his part. Alois fires again. A second shieldman giving way. Rook and Random work in tandem. A nomad pays the price. Rev hooks a fleeing bandit, bringing him to a dead stop. Ver impales a leg. And Mark moves to flank. Handgun braced over a treasure-laden chest. He takes aim. Another blistering blast. An ear torn from one man's face. Another bowman stumbles and falls. Chased by crossfire from Alois. Largely eaten by shields. And Tommy takes a bladesman's nose. Diego finishes the no-nose bandit. Random flails another fragile skull. The rest of the raiders circle, cutting off escape. Annie beating yet another down. And the nomads officially break. The first who tries to flee meets the business end of Mal's blade. Rook claims the second to last kill. And Tommy wraps it up. Nicely done, Raiders. Yeah, even discounting the saved perks we've got on Seymore and Mal, that's still minimum 4 level ups. Very nice. And then as for loot, oh my goodness, would you look at that. Battle-hardened Highland Helm. Same general type as the one we've already got on Rook. Perfect for nimble builds. Plus an assortment of other valuable goods. My goodness, even if we don't end up finding a decent contract along the Noble House Highway, this alone will still have made it well worth the trip. And on we go. Not sure who's getting this just yet. Obviously not Rax or Cetrus, since they're battle-forged. Not Rook, since he's already got one. Not Arrow, since he needs the night vision. Diego, maybe. Would make sense to toss it to one of the shieldmen. Anyway, level ups. Diego hits 8, which is... Underdog. Then on stats... Well, obviously we'll take the MDef. Though once again, flubbed on the actual melee. We'll take the result, since that's the only other max roll, and then I guess round out with... initiative, I guess. And then Verlin, who has officially joined the Soft Cap Club. As previously established, we're going to go ahead and grab Spear Mastery. There are probably other smarter choices I could go with, but honestly I feel like he's earned it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Indomitable's a great choice too, the problem being that in Verlin's case, he just really doesn't have the fatigue to keep up with it. He's already struggling to maintain Shield Wall and Spear Wall. So, rather than stack yet another thing on top of that, we'll just grab the thing that helps him manage what he's already got. And then, as for stats, not much to say there. We'll take the melee, obviously. Might as well grab that max RDef while we're at it. Get past that 10-point target. And since this is our last full roll, you know what? We'll go ahead and bump. Ooh, fatigue or initiative, one or the other. We just took Spearmaster, which helps with fatigue, so I think initiative. And then beyond that, King's Rook also joins the Soft Cap Club, which means Berserk, as already established with Rev. And since this is, again, his final full stat boost, we'll take both defenses and then morale. Which brings us to Alois. Level 7, that's Nimble. As for stats, obviously the range, plus initiative, and resolve, why not? That's the only other max roll. Man, what are we going to do with you? Thematically, it would definitely fit Mal, our disowned noble. But tactically, I suppose it just really does make more sense on Diego. Plus, I suppose thematically, it's not too far out of character for him either. He is a former merchant, after all. And with that, we move on. Though we do have some conspicuous footprints. Ooh, easy one. You know, headed in the wrong direction, so... You know what? You guys can go. No telling how long it would take to actually run them down. We don't want to lose half a day mid-desert, rather than pursuing our actual goal. At least not for relatively trivial XP gain. Okay. Pretty straightforward mix. Armory, weaponsmith, training hall, tavern. First training hall I think we've seen. Nothing notable on rumors. Some decent recruits, though sadly we're not in the market right now. Not until we free up more space in the roster. Prices are acceptable, at least for purchases. Selling prices look a bit on the low end. Oh, actually, that's a pretty decent margin. All right, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and hit the pause button real quick whilst I do some wheeling and dealing. Free up space, bulk up our bank account. Be right back. And we are back. Slightly richer and ready to go. Obviously not taking any jobs in Matterfest, so let's set our sights on Goldfest. Not our preferred employer for this particular crisis, but we will at least hear them out. Oof, 3 skull crisis contract. Yeah, that one might be a bit more than we can handle. But we'll at least give it a gander. Let me just check the local market real quick. We've got a fair bit of expendable cash, so we might buy something nice. Oh, speaking of which, you know what? I actually forgot about that sword lance. I did do some research on it, and I do want to pick one up. I just completely blanked on it before we left. Hikmah. You step into Baron Sorrel von Goswin's room, and he immediately begins talking. We're at war with House Harkon, but wars require a bit more than clashing armies against one another. Sometimes they demand a bit of subterfuge. What I need, Sellsword, is for you to raid their territories for 5 days. Destroy caravans, burn farms, anything that will help the war cause. Of course, you should be wary of enemy patrols. I know if you were coming after my lands and peoples, I'd come after you. Doubly hard. Phrasing. So, what say you? Well, that's the wrong house. We don't want to go after Harkon, but also that's just not really the kind of job I'd prefer to do. Even with the promise of 5,000 gold. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind fighting soldiers or thugs or monsters, but picking on the peasantry just feels mean. We'll try our luck in Erlak. Hey, here we go. 2 skull. Also, witch burnings. Doesn't really help us, but doesn't hurt us either. Let's see what we've got this time. You enter Count Gisbert von Harkon's war room and bring sudden silence to a throng of generals and commanders grouped around battle maps. Count Gisbert waves you in and brings you to one side. The military men glare at you for a time before slowly returning to their strategic talks. Count Gisbert explains his situation. I have Commander Sir Severin besieging the fortifications at Oberberg. He needs a few more men to start the assault, which is where you come in. Go there, help him, and I will pay you a more than sufficient 4,000 crowns in return. Sounds fair, no? I mean, it's better. Though I would prefer going up against Goswin if we can help it. That said, my only real issue with this, because I mean, I would be willing to take on Goswin if it's the best job we can find. The main issue is that Oberberg is on the opposite side of the map. And caravan run. To Karakin. You know what? You look out Casimir the Burgomeister's window and watch men loading a few wagons with goods. Casimir joins you, 2 goblets of wine in hand. You take one and drink it all in one swig. The man stares at you. That wasn't cheap. You're supposed to enjoy it. You shrug. Sorry, can I have another to get it right? Casimir turns around and goes to his desk. Yeah, so, look, I need a caravan guarded to Karakin. It's a 2-day journey to the west of here. Pretty simple, right? There's plenty of crowns in it if you're interested. Well, we've got to do something, so why not? Local job offers haven't panned out. We'll try our luck in Karakin and then work our way back east. Hopefully the contracts will have reset by the time we get back to Noble House Highway. Though with any luck, we won't even have to go that far, since we'll pass multiple Harkon towns on the way back. Though if the contracts haven't reset and we can't find something better, then I guess we will take that one against Overberg, pick a fight with the Goswins. It's really just the Harkons we don't want to pick a fight with, because they're essentially our gateway to the Blazing Desert region. And I would prefer to maintain easy access to the southern city-states. You know, the Goswins serve a similar purpose on the north, but there's no additional cities beyond them that we have to really worry about. It's really just snowy wastes and barbarian base camps, plus the occasional legendary location, the mighty Idjirok, which I would like to tackle. I think that is kind of manageable, but I think it's also probably more a second cycle thing. The first cycle, I would like to stick my nose in on that follow-up location to the abandoned village. The ancient reliquary? Oh, Saleh. I'll take that. Decent prices on supplies, but we're not really hurting. On we go. Sigmar the Deserter and Malafnoy the Disowned Nobleman are staring at each other over a campfire. Being that the camp is a rather romanceless place, such a thing usually precedes one thing: a barn burner of a fight. But instead, and rather whimsically, both men slowly start to smile. Sigmar points a finger. You were commanding Ludolf's levy out west, right? The Disowned Nobleman laughs and smacks his knee. Son of a bitch, I knew you looked familiar. You little deserter, you. Do you have any idea how long we looked for your damn arse? 1 whole week. We did catch the rest, but you got away. The deserter laughs. And now look at us, fighting for the same mercenary company. What are the odds, right? What did you do with the guys you did catch, by the way? Malafnoy shrugs. Oh, we hanged them, of course. In fact, it reminds me of an old trick that, well, let's just say, those were the days. Sigmar stares into the fire for a moment. He looks up. Ha ha. Yeah. Oof, awkward. But such is life in the world of Battle Brothers, and more often, death. And goodness knows we'll certainly take the stat boost. That's 4 points of much-needed resolve for Sigmar, and a little more melee for Mal. Though that is not, I will note, the penultimate event for the Disowned Noble. That has yet to fire. I don't think we've actually got him a high enough level just yet. Not sure about Deserter, though. Oh, and we've got action. Some very bold nomads staging an ill-advised assault. Hey, your funeral. A nasty group of ne'er-do-wells blocked the road to Karakin. And thus the raiders themselves got cracking. Time to earn that pay. Though really, 1,000 gold for 9 measly nomads? That is quite a bargain. Really would have expected them to toss something a mite bit tougher at us. At least a nomad leader. Realizing they were both figuratively and literally outgunned, the nomads rushed in, spreading their line thin. Eyes set on the cart, perhaps hoping to grab whatever they could carry. before scattering back to the sands. But the raiders would have none of it. Drak cut one off on the rise, head tumbling down the savannah slope. The raiders spread out as well, blocking flankers on both sides. A gun boomed, but there were no neat clusters to take advantage this time out. Rak sprinted straight down the middle, eyes locked on the bandit back line. Another boom. A hapless nomad nearly disintegrated at point-blank range, body bursting outward over the grass. An arrow surveyed the field. A glancing hit on a chaotic battlefield. More blows exchanged, bloodshed, shallow wounds doled. Rev hacks half a calf on north. A howling hooligan dropped to one knee. And shrapnel sweeps the south. An archer half-gutted by the first blast, eviscerated by the next. Random ensures another won't rise. And Rax rushes roundabout. Though honestly, these guys are dropping so quick, I don't think he'll even get a swing in. One is half decapped by Drak. Alois fires into another shield, sending the man staggering. Easy prey for Tommy from the side. And Rax goes in swinging. An outlaw torn in twain. Axe ending buried in another archer's chest. The fight is all but over. The raiders simply counting kills. A shieldman claimed by bowmen. The gunners holding. No clear line of fire. Rev waves them off, casually reaping the second to last. And Diego gets it done. Not much in the way of loot, obviously, but we'll take it. A few hundred here and there certainly doesn't hurt. And goodness knows I certainly don't mind the XP. Honestly, I kind of hope we have another. I'll slot the rooks in just in case we do. Footprints. Ah, just a patrol. Which I suppose means we're done. Yeah, we're close to time anyway. Another fight might have been pushing it a bit. But hey, the important thing is we made it out to Kraken. Collected our pay, and with 2 more contracts on tap. Not to mention, we finally got ourselves a taxidermist. So that'll give me a good opportunity to clear out some clutter here. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping. And we will pick up here next time. As we set our sights back east, head back down that Noble House Highway. And hopefully find a slightly more appealing inn. Though, as aforementioned, there's always Oberberg. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Erie V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.